Oh, hey guys. Yeah, sorry, I was just solving this. There's been a lot of comments lately, people saying it's destroying their OCD, so I guess I figured I should solve it. Hey, what's up guys? This is Dan, our Crazy Bad Cuber. In today's video, we're going to be doing the full review on the new, well, somewhat new, actually it's not even new anymore, but it's the WeiLong GTS3M. This is one with the ridges. I did my first impressions. I was kind of on the fence about it. It was really fast, overshot like crazy, and I didn't know how I felt about the ridges. This review has been a long time coming. That's because I needed the time, but I actually used this puzzle quite a lot because it took a while to set up, and I really wanted to know how I felt about the ridges. And I'm going to compare it to the GTS2M, which is kind of what people use as the standard, myself included. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right, so this is the box. It's got a lot of Chinese writing on it. It says GTS3 Magnetic WeiLong GTS3M 3x3. The box itself is magnetic as well, but we've seen this in the first impressions, but I'm going to give a quick overview on what is in the box because this is a full review. First, you get the puzzle in a very useless plastic box. This box comes with it too, and inside we have some accessories. Now, in my first impressions, I said I don't know what these things are for. These are for when all the edges and corners are taken out and you're assembling the centers. You can put them in the core and you can tension it that way. Personally, I find that useless. You get a little screwdriver, which I find handy. I've got multiple of these from multiple puzzles. Inside here, you have an extra cap. We're gonna get to this in a second. This is a pretty cool, it's one of the selling points for this puzzle for sure. And this is what you use to actually crank it and tension the springs. Now, I didn't watch my previous video. If there was anything else in the box, like a pamphlet, which there usually is, I apologize. I'm not sure where it is, but that's the essentials of what you get. All right, so this is the puzzle with the ridges. Now, in my first impressions, I couldn't do a U without it overshooting. Like, I can still do a U2 if I go really hard, but before it was just a tiny, tiny bit of pressure. And if any of you guys are like me, you know how annoying that is when you try to do a move and it overshoots. It's just too fast. You know, that's when people say a cube is too fast. For me, at least. I don't know about everybody, but for me personally, it's too quick. And all I did to slow this thing down and then kind of get it to the speed I want is purple stuff, blue stuff. Purple stuff first, blue stuff second. 2 drops, 2 drops. So that made the puzzle turn really, really nice. I don't have any overshooting problems because of it. It's a really, really nice puzzle now. The big thing for me also was the ridges. So I think that we all know and agree that the ridges on a Megaminx are actually a really, really good idea. But are they good on a 3x3? Now, I don't know why they put ridges on this. GTS2M, huge success, massive success. One of the best puzzles ever made, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion. It's one of the most successful cubes on the Cubicle's website. They have done Cubicle Labs, angstrom versions of it. They've experimented on it with different coatings. This puzzle has been used for a very long time, and well, since it came out, and it's been widely used by a lot of really pro people. So why would they put ridges on a 3x3 when it's never been a problem? Nobody's ever been like, you know what, I could use this ridges and make my cube feel different. That has never ever been heard of. I've never seen that in the comment section. I've never heard a reviewer ever say, let's put ridges on a 3x3 and see what'll happen. Now, the ridges on this puzzle really aren't that big. They're not exaggerated. And before I got this puzzle, I saw a lot of videos and stuff on the Cubicle's website because they get these early. And I saw Phil saying, you know what, you can feel it, but it's really not an issue. But coming from a standard cube here without ridges, which is what we're all used to, like literally every cube before this cube, I gotta say that the ridges I have gotten used to, and at first they were weird. And now, I mean, you don't really notice the ridges. They're not really that much more protruding than a regular cube. You do know they're there, you do feel them. Are they helping me turn the cube? Absolutely not. Are they helping me get faster? Absolutely not. Does it add a different feel to the cube? Absolutely. But in all honesty, I feel like it is a feeling that is just unnecessary. I mean, when you're doing algorithms, there's nothing. There's no real reason for it. It doesn't make it a bad cube, that's for sure. It honestly, if it didn't have ridges, it's not going to be any different in my opinion. Come on, let's get real here though. Like, the ridges are pointless. There's no point in having ridges on a 3x3. I think they should have went without ridges. Personally, the GTS3M was such a huge success. Why would you change it? I don't get it. I personally don't get it. Having this cube for a while, I will say this is not going to be my main cube. Would it be my main cube over a GTS2? It is hard to say. First of all, I use Angstromed ones or Cubicle Labs branded ones. This is a stock one, so it is hard for me to tell, because anytime I've ever gotten a Cubicle Labs, especially an Angstrom one, the performance is greatly enhanced from the actual stock version, and I just don't find that, you know, the GTS3M stock is up to par with the GTS2M Angstrom. But the Cubicle is also made in Angstrom GTS3M. I've asked Phil if he could send me one. I'm not sure if they're going to or not, but if they do, I'm definitely going to be doing a review of it. The corner cutting on this cube is very, very good. I've got it set actually fairly tight, so there is quite a snap compared to this cube. It's very snappy, requires a little bit more force. Reverse corner cutting is also great. Like I'm not going to lock up. Anywhere I go, I'm basically going to cut. It's impossible for me to put enough pressure on here and it just absolutely lock and not go anywhere. Like I'm holding it with my finger there. Like it will go in any orientation of the top layer, no matter what. The internals are also slightly different as well, but I'm not going to pull them apart because I don't want to wreck the lube jobs that I've done on them. If you want to see a difference in between them, both of my first impressions on the GTS2 and GTS3 do show the internals, so you can see for yourself. So even though the GTS3 is 12 grams heavier than the GTS2, I really don't feel the difference. And I also don't feel the difference in size at all. I mean, I think that the ridges add a little bit just on the edges. They're, I think, 1/4 millimeter bigger, like I said. They're not uncomfortable in any way whatsoever. All right, guys, so let's take a look at some solves on this, and then we're gonna check out what makes this cube superior to most other cubes, in my opinion. So there is one thing about this cube, and I think this justifies the price hike from the GTS2 to the GTS3 that makes the GTS3 superior in one way, especially from the GTS2, and that is the ability to adjust the spring tensions. Now, we've all known for a long time that you take a Yushin Red 6x6 and you add different springs into it, and it turns it from a pretty bad cube to one of the best cubes on the market just by doing a spring swap, changing the springs. Now, a lot of 3x3s are coming with different springs these days, softer springs, harder springs. This one does not. Why is that? Well, that's because you can actually change it with a tool. Remember when I showed you this tool here? Well, this thing here adjusts your springs. In order to adjust your springs, you need to take off a center cap, and now you've got this little piece down here which this fits into. And from here, you can actually crank this and turn it, as you can see. Now, if you look from the side, I wonder if we can see it with this lighting, but, and then at one point, it drops back down. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is the bottom one. So you've got 9 different tensions of springs. That's like having 9 different springs that you can change just like that. High five. So after I lubed this thing and I got away the spring noise and the overshooting, I put it on the bottom, which we're gonna count as 1 and 2, 3, 4. I like setting number 4 for all of my centers. Now, depending on how you actually adjust your core with your screwdriver and also your lube job, the setting is gonna be different, but I do highly suggest if you're gonna do this, that you put all of your centers on the same setting. That way, everything is turning exactly the same. And the last and final thing I'm gonna say about the GTS3M is that the magnets are a little bit stronger, but they're not so strong that they're annoying. You guys know how I like the magnets. I don't want to feel them while I'm solving, but I want them to do their job, and they do. It keeps it in line every time. Perfect. All right, guys, I want to thank the Cubicle for sending me this puzzle. Totally awesome and sponsoring this video. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys for watching as well, and I will see you guys in my next video.